Today's lesson is called The Age of the Automobile. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
My name is Roger, and today we're going to continue talking about the age of the automobile, the history of the car. Where was it invented? Who invented it? And how come we love them so much today? So last time we talked about a debate going on. Gee, who invented the first automobile? Was it Gottlieb Daimler or was it Carl Benz? Well, some people think it's Benz, some people think it's Daimler, but it doesn't matter because later on these companies merged and they became the famous Mercedes-Benz, and the rest is history.
The rest is history indeed. You can go buy a Mercedes-Benz car right now if you happen to have a lot of money. It's still a company. It's still a thing. If you have enough cash, you can buy a Mercedes-Benz car right now. Anyways, cars were first developed in Germany. No one knows exactly who came up with the first one, but we all know that cars were first developed in Germany. But no one in Germany or in Europe, could really afford a car. You'd have to be rich, or you'd have to be in a royal family or something like that to own a car. But that all changed with Henry Ford, In America, Henry Ford developed a way of making tons of cars cheaply, and he was able to make mass car ownership a thing in America. Yeah, it became common to own a car in America. Now, one thing that we should all take note of right now. So far, we've talked about gas-powered vehicles and cars. Your Mercedes-Benz and Ford cars all ran on gasoline. Well, today we're going to be talking about electric cars a little bit. Cars that don't necessarily run on gasoline. In fact, they might run on battery power or something like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about electric cars and not gas-powered cars.
While gas-powered cars are the most common type today, inventors were working on electric vehicles around the same time that gas-powered ones were being developed. Many people think of them as a new innovation, but actually that's not the case.
各位好，第一部分我们看到单字 innovation 这个字是名词，指创新、改革。例如 The project highlights numerous innovations that improve the education system. 这个产品强调了许多提升教育系统的创新。另外，补充这个字的形容词 innovative, I-N-N-O-V-A-T-I-V-E, innovative 指创新的、新颖的。我们可以说 Martin came up with an innovative solution to the problem. Martin 想出了一个创新的方法来解决这个问题。
Okay, so let's talk about the first paragraph in today's lesson. It's all about electric vehicles as opposed to gas-powered cars. That's what we were talking about last time. And here it says, while gas-powered cars are the most common type today, inventors were working on electric vehicles around the same time that gas-powered ones were being developed. I did not know that. I thought electric cars were new and they were a modern invention, but it turns out that they were actually working on electric vehicles way back then. So yes, while gas-powered cars are the most common type today, yes, even though it's true that cars that run on gasoline are the most common type of car today, inventors were working on electric vehicles a long time ago. So here, electric just refers to something that uses electricity. I guess you could say these vehicles use electronics. If you're talking about certain circuits and computers and stuff, then we say electronic. But if you're referring specifically to the actual power, then we say electric or electricity. And many people think of them as a new innovation or a new invention, but actually that's not the case. So here we've got the word innovation. That's kind of similar to the word invention, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're talking about innovations, you're talking about the newest developments in something, okay? When I think of an innovation, I think of someone who's come up with a new and creative idea that's going to change everything. I believe Steve Jobs at Apple really liked to use this word innovate. He wanted to do the next big thing in technology. He wanted to introduce innovations, or he wanted to innovate. Yeah, innovation is the noun. Innovate would be the verb. By the way, this is really interesting wording here. Many people think of them as the electric cars. Many people think of them as a new innovation, okay? An innovation is already new in and of itself. So if our author here has said that this is a new innovation, these things, people must think of these things as being really, really new. What interesting wording, a new innovation. All right, everyone, with that, it is time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking some more about electric cars.
The first production electric car was designed in 1884 by Thomas Parker, the same man who electrified the London Underground. By 1900, electric vehicles were giving gas cars a run for their money. They were quiet, did not give off emissions, and were easier to drive, especially for women. They weren't without shortcomings, though, because they were difficult to charge when most people's homes didn't have electricity. They were also rather expensive. In the end, Henry Ford's cheap Model T put an end to interest in electric cars, which didn't revive until the gas shortages and environmental concerns of the late 20th century.
第二部分，我们看到一个名词 emission， 指排放物、散发物。如果指汽机车等排放的废气时，则用复数表示，像是 Reducing vehicle emissions is important for the environment. 减少车辆废气排放对环境很重要。又或者说 To cut down on greenhouse gas emissions, I have started taking the MRT to work instead of driving my car. 为了减少温室气体的排放，我已经开始改搭捷运上班，而不开车了。再来，我们看到单字 shortcoming， 这个字是名词，指缺点、弱点。举例来说 One of the shortcomings of the plan was that it was going to cost the company a lot of money. 这个计划的其中一个缺点是将会花费公司很多钱。接着我们看到一个动词 revive， 课文中有使重新流行的意思。例如 The musician revived several older musical styles. 那名音乐家让好几种较老派的音乐类型再度流行起来。另外，这个字除了上面的意思，还可以指使恢复、复苏。我们可以说 Nurses revived the patient after he lost consciousness. 护士把失去意识的病人救醒了。
Okay, let's continue to talk about electric cars. Maybe they are the wave of the future. So the first production electric car was designed way back in 1884 by Thomas Parker, the same man who electrified the London Underground. Of course, you know what the London Underground is. It's their metro system. It's their mass transit system, which is one of the oldest in the world. And they built that back in the 1800s. And I guess part of it, or maybe all of it, was electrified. Here we've got the verb to electrify. That just means you make something so that it can use electricity. They talked about the electrification of society about this time. Before that, people were using gas lamps and things like that. People probably couldn't survive as easily then as they can now because we have electricity.
Yeah, this guy Thomas Parker, by the way, he electrified the London Underground. I believe that before, the London Underground was just a set of train tracks that was underground, and they had these old smoky trains that might burn coal to run and stuff like that. Apparently, it was really nasty in the underground because of all the smoke and the way that the trains burn fuel. So they electrified the system. They made those trains run on electricity, and that cleaned things up pretty much immediately. Yeah, to this day, The MRT in Taipei and in Kaohsiung as well, they run on electric power. These have been electrified, or these systems of mass transportation run on electricity. They have been electrified, you could say. Anyways, by 1900, electric vehicles were giving gas cars a run for their money, i.e., gas cars were there first, but electric vehicles, they were being developed quickly, and soon people were actively debating whether or not to either buy a gas car or an electric car, and some people picked electric cars. They really gave gas cars a run for their money, electric cars did.
Yep, to give someone or something a run for their money means they are very competitive and you got to watch out for them or they're going to pass you. I used to be a really good long-distance runner, but then this guy, John, started to run and train and they said, hey, Roger, you got to watch out for John. He's going to give you a run for your money. He's going to beat you in the next marathon. Oh, no, what am I going to do? I've got all this competition. So, yes, indeed, electric vehicles were giving gas cars a lot of competition, giving them a run for their money. And there were various reasons for that. They were quiet, did not give off emissions, and were easier to drive, especially for women. Okay, I guess it was difficult for women to drive in those days because they had to wear those long dresses and they'd probably get stuck on the pedals and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you also had to crank the car in the front, which was not an easy thing to do. I believe the Model T, if you didn't know what you were doing, you could hurt yourself while trying to start that car. Yeah, the Model T was a tough car to start. You had to be tough and strong to get that thing going. So I'm sure ladies weren't particularly in love with having to crank the car or possibly getting injured or stuff like that. So they thought, hey, electric vehicles, I don't have to crank it to get it started. Hey, that's the car for me, honey. Let's go ahead and buy an electric vehicle you and I can both drive. And yes, electric vehicles, they were giving gas cars a run for their money, okay? They were really competitive with gas cars. People were choosing electric cars over gas cars by 1900. How cool. That being said, there were drawbacks to electric cars. Yeah, they weren't without shortcomings, though, because they were difficult to charge when most people's homes didn't have electricity. Yeah, nowadays, if you buy a Tesla, let's say, you can plug it in at your house and charge it at your house. But that's because cities have become electrified. Everybody has electricity. That was not the case in 1900. It wasn't the case there at the turn of the century. So this was definitely a shortcoming, a drawback, a con when it came to electric cars of the day.
Yep, they had those disadvantages, those shortcomings. Yeah, because you couldn't charge them easily. Maybe they should have thought of the idea that Gogoro has thought of. They just have those stations where you just switch the batteries and you're good to go. But I guess they didn't think of that back then. So, of course, lots of people did not have electric power. So they were also expensive. Those cars were, not cheap. And I think I understand that gasoline was readily available then, and it was pretty cheap. So, heck, that was a pretty easy decision there. Let's have gas-powered cars and not electric ones. The electric ones are too much of a hassle.
So you couldn't charge them at home, and they were also expensive. Yeah, those are two big drawbacks for electric cars. And get this, in the end, Henry Ford's cheap Model T put an end to interest in electric cars, which didn't revive until the gas shortages and environmental concerns of the late 20th century. So there you go. People in Europe there, if you were rich and you had the means, you might think, will I buy a Mercedes, a gas-powered Mercedes, or will I buy one of these electric cars? I know they're both expensive, but I can afford it. Let me actually think about these two options and weigh them, and I'll make my decision. Well, that all changed when the Model T came on the market, okay? When you could get a Model T, you could get a cheap gas-powered car, and you no longer thought about buying expensive cars like expensive electric vehicles. So yes, the Model T Ford put an end to interest in electric cars. At this moment, people no longer pursued this technology or thought about it anymore. They didn't want to buy these cars anymore because the Model T was there, it was cheap, and gas was cheap too. Why would you think about anything else?
Yeah, people lost interest in electric cars after that. The cheap Model T put an end end to those cars. I could say that cell phones put an end to beepers. Remember those? People used to use beepers once upon a time. But yes, indeed, people lost interest in those electric cars, which didn't revive or didn't come back until the gas shortages and environmental concerns of the late 20th century. A shortage is when you don't have enough of something. Like in the 70s, there was the Arab oil embargo, and so there were shortages of gasoline, and people thought, hey, maybe we should start using more gasoline-efficient cars or maybe even using electric ones.
All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on the history of the automobile.
Now, early in the 21st century, we find ourselves on the brink of yet another age in automobile history. Electric cars are set to make the gas guzzler obsolete, and self-driving cars may soon make human drivers a thing of the past. Benz, Daimler, and Parker would surely be amazed by how far their dreams have come.
第三部分，我们看到一个片语 on the brink of 加名词或动名词，表示濒于点点点在点点点的边缘。举例来说 ，This building is on the brink of collapsing, so it isn't safe to enter it. 这栋建筑物快要倒塌了，所以进去里面并不安全。另外补充一个同义片语 on the edge of 加名词或动名词，我们可以说Don't disturb Patty, for she is on the edge of solving a very difficult puzzle. 别吵 Patty, 因为她快解开一道很难的谜题了。再来，我们看到一个名词 gas guzzler, 用来指耗油量大的汽车。像是 A lot of people are trading in their gas guzzlers because of the price of gas. 因为油价，很多人把原本耗油量大的汽车折价换掉。最后，我们看到一个单字obsolete 这个字是形容词，指淘汰的、过时的。例如 George feels that his laptop is obsolete now, so he intends to buy a new one. George 觉得自己的笔电现在已经过时了，所以他打算买一台新的。
Okay, so now we're up to the present time. Now, early in the 21st century, you know, the 2000s, 21st century, we find ourselves on the brink of yet another age in automobile history. On the brink, on the edge of something, about ready to have something happen. You often hear this about peace negotiations in the Middle East. Oh, we're almost there. We're on the brink of peace, but yet it never happens. Well, now we're on the brink of another age in the history of the car. What's going to happen?
I don't know, but I think Elon Musk will have something to do with it. His brand Tesla makes a beautiful electric car. Yes, and when it comes to this new age in automobile history, it's going to be defined by electric cars. Yes, electric cars are set to make the gas guzzler obsolete, and self-driving cars may soon make human drivers a thing of the past. Yes, Tesla makes a beautiful electric car, and yes, very often these cars, these Tesla cars, they have all sorts of cool technology in them. They can even drive themselves. They're self-driving cars. How cool. Anyways, electric cars are set to make the gas guzzler obsolete. Yeah, if something is obsolete, it's no longer useful. No one uses it anymore. And here the idea is to make gas guzzlers obsolete, i.e., let's get rid of these cars that use way too much gasoline. Yeah, they use so much that it's almost as though they're drinking it heartily. It's almost as though they're guzzling this gas, i.e., gas guzzler.
Yeah, my father had a 1971 Chrysler Newport, and that was a gas guzzler. And of course, typewriters and beepers are obsolete, but self-driving cars may soon make human drivers a thing of the past. A thing of the past means something you don't see anymore. For example, this new medicine will make hoof and mouth disease a thing of the past.
Yes, it will no longer exist. Anyways, Benz, Daimler, and Parker would surely be amazed by how far their dreams have come. By the way, if you are amazed, you are really, really impressed by something.
I am amazed by your ability to speak Russian, for example. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny， 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分的最后一句提到 Many people think of them as a new innovation, but actually that's not the case. 很多人认为电动车是一项新发明，但实际上并非如此。好，我们用 be 动词加上 the case 是用来表达是这样没错，再加上否定字词变成 be not the case 就表示并非如此，不是那么一回事。所以课文句子里面用到 that's not the case 就是并非如此，不是那么一回事。好，另外我们要介绍的是 think of A as B 的句型，表示将 A 视为 B， 认为 A 是 B。 Think of 也可以用其他动词来替换，像是 see A as B, view A as B, regard A as B 等等。在这些用法当中 as 后面呢，我们是可以接名词或是形容词来表达。例如 She regards Sam as a friend， 她把 Sam 当作她的朋友。好，那至于被动句型，我们是可以说 A 加上 be viewed as， 或是 be seen as， 或是 be regarded as， 或是 be thought of as， 再加上 B 来表达 A 被视为 B， A 被认为是 B。 好，那么同样的 as 后面是可以接名词或是形容词。例如 Nick is seen as the best player on his team， Nick 被认为是他队上最厉害的球员。好，课文第二部分最后提到，直到20世纪末，电动车才重新流行起来。那这边用到一个单字 revive， 我们来学它的字首字根。好像 viv、vit、vig 这几个字根呢，有生命、活或是活力的意思。在 revive 这个字当中 re 表示再度、再次，那么 vive 表示生命，合在一起revive 就表示苏醒、复苏。那在课文里面它是用来表达重新流行，就好像重新活过来一样。顺便补充有几个相关字根的单字。第一个是 vital 是拼作 vital， 那它的字根 vit 有生命的意思， al 是形容词字尾，合在一起 vital 就可以用来表达生命的或是充满活力的，像 vital sign 就表示生命迹象。那同学们就可以试着联想，跟生命有关，那就是不可或缺、非常重要的，所以 vital 可以用来形容非常重要、必不可缺的。好，第二个单字叫做 revitalize， 这个字就是在 vital 的前面加上字首 re， 表示再度、再次，然后在 vital 的后面加上动词字尾 ize， 合在一起变成 revitalize， 表示使什么恢复生气，使什么恢复精神，使什么复兴、振兴。好，第三个单字 vigor， vigor， 它的字根 vig 表示活力， or 是名词字尾，那么合在一起 vigor 这个名词就是用来表达活力呀、体力或是精力。好，再看第四个字 survive， 同学们应该知道它有生存、活下来或是幸存的意思。那么 survive 它的字首 sur 表示超越， vive 表示活或是生活。这怎么会是这样的组合呢？好，它原本是照字面的意思来表达活得比什么什么还久，你活的日子超越了谁谁谁，所以像我们说 A survive B 就表示 A 活得比 B 还久，在 B 过世之后 A 都还活着。那后来 survive 这个字它又衍生出超越险境而活下来的语义。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Electric. In the summer, Laura can't sleep unless she uses an electric fan. Shortcoming. This laptop's biggest shortcoming is that it's quite heavy. Revive. This year, Ricky's family revived their tradition of having a yearly reunion. Shortage. A poor harvest caused the country to have a food shortage. Amazed. I was amazed at how quickly Holly recovered from her injury.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here comes our discussion starter for today, and the question is, which type of car do you think is better, gas or electric? Why?
Well, there are several advantages to electric cars, including the lack of emissions and stuff like that. But at this point, electric cars are still a bit too expensive, and these gas-powered cars that we have in the market now are very efficient and cheap as well. So I think for now, I'm still going to stick with gas-powered cars. I still think they're the better fit for me.
I like electric cars mainly because they are so quiet. Even though it might be dangerous for pedestrians when they're trying to cross the street, I still think it would be nice to live in a city that is not so darn loud.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.